The advice that the older pros gave to the youngsters, if you don't drink, you're not going to make it. But he was always there, even after training. Woody's here. And of course, the lads would just go out after training. Bobby Savage, yeah, we were best mates in school. He kind of took me under his wing.
So how do you two know each other then, Jim and Woody? How long have you known each other?
Well, I remember Woody from my Manchester City days. I was obviously very close with my brother. We're lucky enough to both be playing in the same team for Manchester City and Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
And Woody would always be present. He'd turn up lunchtime, whatever, and he was just part and part of the furniture. And I was like, I only knew him as Woody. I didn't know any other name for many year. It's like Woody. And we went out together, and I didn't know for a while that you looked after cars. I was buying cars from other people until I eventually started coming to you for cars. But that kind of, the relationship grew from many, many years ago. But
what year was that, Jim?
Wow, so I was at City. So I was playing in 1998, but I think I met you probably around 96, 97.
Right. Was that in the bar? Would that have been in the bar after a football match?
Players'
Probably
bar,
in the players'
probably
lounge,
players'
yeah.
lounge. I think initially, yes, we always had a players' bar. So after the games, we'd go in and meet friends, family, whoever was in the players' bar.
Okay, and he was always there,
He was
sitting
there,
in the corner,
but
begging for friends.
Yes, but he was always there. he was always
begging
there.
for a drink.
Even after training, after training, it was like, Woody? Woody's here. And of course, lads would just go out after training. That was part and parcel of it. Okay. Woody would front that.
We could have actually called this podcast Life of a Football Groupie.
Yeah. You know so many footballers.
Well, again, that's part of my low self-esteem issues.
Well, I might have low self-esteem, but I don't want to hang around with a lot of footballers.
No, but
I wouldn't mind hanging around with a lot of footballers. I don't need to.
I love football. I love Man City.
Okay.
And then when I first met Mick, obviously many years before I met Jim, and
Mick McCarthy, who we had on our last podcast.
Oh, by the way, you engaged with him very well.
He was such a lovely man. He's like an oak tree.
Yeah.
He's like an oak tree. He's not only because he's so tall, in northern and strong and rooted and centred, and what a gentleman!
Absolutely.
So lovely to meet him last week.
Yeah,
You're very lucky to have a friend like him. I don't know what you've done to deserve a friend like him.
Yes, and thank you, Mick, again for coming.
Absolutely beautiful man.
I'll reiterate everything that Karen said. He is an absolutely top man. But getting back to the football. So then I would. Met Mick, and then he took me in the players' lounge and in the director's room. I thought, I like this, and then I want to stay around here for quite a while. So I just worked really hard on getting friends with new footballers. I mean, it was so horrible. I've said sorry to loads of them for being such a manipulative person.
This was before you became sober.
It was like a people pleasing way, but not in a sort of arse-licking way.
That's awful.
Tried to be like one of the lads,
awful.
and you know what I mean. And
I have to say though, Karen, and I know he's you're having a go at yourself here, Woody, but the culture back then with the football, was, and I remember breaking into the team. The advice that the older pros gave to the youngsters, that if you don't drink, you're not going to make it. That was just. They liked the team camaraderie, and being together as a team, and part of that was going out. And this is where Woody came in and just found that this was part and parcel of what we did. So you're having a go at yourself, but it was part and parcel of it. It was fun. It's totally different now, and I wouldn't give that advice to kids now coming through. And part of me sometimes wishes I'd had not better advice, but. Goals, now you're in the team. I would love someone to say, now you're in the team, let's play for 10 games, 20 games. Now be the captain. Now play for your country. Yeah. But sadly, that was what it was. And even previous to them, the coaches used to have, when I'm saying my coaches who were in their 60s, 50s, 60s, when they were playing, in the dressing room, they used to have a bottle that would go around, and this would be called Team Spirit. And it would be like, pass me some Team Spirit.
Oh my God.
That would be a shot of brandy or whatever, and that was like one. That was before they went out training.
Wow.
So it was just. So that was part and parcel.
So this is the late 90s?
Yeah, so this was late 90s when
but it went back way before that.
But it went back before that. Yeah. And, but yes, it was part and parcel. I just couldn't handle it, so I would go out for a drink, but I'd disappear afterwards. It was just, you know.
I remember Jeff telling me a story. Jeff, obviously,
is Jim's brother.
Jim's brother. Very, very documented his story of his battles with drink and drugs, and he's done ever so well now and works helping other players, as I mentioned last week, which is absolutely total credit to him. But I remember him telling me a story, because when he'd been smoking weed as a teenager, and some of the players said, the senior players, you need to get off that. You need to replace that with booze. And that was the advice he got. It was basically, if you get drug tested, you'll get chucked out, but you can drink as much as you want. Yeah. And that was the culture. And that's probably one of the main reasons he got stuck into the booze from an early age. It was encouraged. All the players encouraged it.
Yeah.
You know, me and Jeff would take, I mean, this is, you know, and I apologise to any of the young players back in the day, but we would take them out on a Wednesday night to that Soul Train, all the reserve team lads. Yes. Who were probably drinking underage.
I remember it well.
You didn't have enough to drink then, did you?
Yeah, it's a good night, Wednesday.
It's a great night. But that's by the by.
But you know, played golf with Simon. Is it Stephen Jordan, wasn't it? Who used to play fullback. And Nicky Weaver said, I think I'd been about a year sober, 2 years sober. He said, and Weave said, what did you fancy a game at Titherington tomorrow? I went, yeah, listen, is it okay if I bring Stephen Jordan? I was like, yeah, great. That'll be nice. Yeah, I'll bring Stephen Jordan. So I walked up to him on the first day. Stephen, really nice to meet you. He said, what are you winding me up? I went, oh, have we met before? He said, some of my finest nights out I've been with you and Jeff on a Wednesday night. So that was just how it was, you know. Yeah, just how it was. So yeah.
So Jeff struggled with the drink.
Yeah.
With drinking.
Yeah.
And how have you led a relatively healthy life? You look incredibly healthy now.
Thank you, my dear. It's just personalities, and he broke in scene before me, so he was 17,
right?
And having to deal with that, it's very difficult,
right?
And so, yes, he dealt with it differently to me, and yes, I suppose I could control it.
Yeah.
And I need to say now at this stage that I believe that you are like a miracle, because you know, obviously, I know what you went through with all your childhood stuff and everything. I mean, is that something that you're willing to share? And this is no disrespect to anyone else listening or watching the podcast, because everyone has bad stories along the way, you know. But yeah, no, we grew up in Zambia. I lived there till I was 10 years old. I was very close to my dad. My mum was a young mum, and she wasn't really around much. She was always out and drinking, and we were always left to our own devices. And my dad did quite a good job in Zambia. So we had servants, we had guards that would look after us. And my dad was often golf. He played golf, and so he'd always in golf competitions. He was also in the Masons. He lived near the president, didn't you?
Yes, we lived very close to the president. So and he'd go to the Masons, and so sometimes Mum would go out and just leave us on our own, and it was quite scary at times. But I do remember at 10, we'd visited England a couple of occasions, and my dad had a previous family to ours. He'd had 5 kids previous to having the 3 of us, me, my brother Jeff, and my sister Judy. And he said, do you want to move to England? And I was like, yeah, great. And he said, you'd be going on your own and living with my half-brother. And I do remember a piece of me kind of died at that moment.
So he sent you over to England?
Sent me over to England. He said it was for educational purposes.
Just you and
me, my Jeff, and my sister Jude. My immediate
right,
family.
Okay.
We went and lived with my half-brother Dennis.
But he was going to stay over there?
He stayed over, yes.
Along with your mum?
I don't know where my mum was at the time.
Okay.
So
sorry, I interrupted you. Said you
because I was really close to my dad.
Okay.
And so we left and went to live in Wrexham.
That must have been really tough.
Yeah, it was tough because one from the weather.
Yeah.
the weather side, and then moving. We had a bungalow. We always had big bungalows. So then to move to kind of a house with stairs, I was like, wow, this is different. So all that was different. And then also, my dad was, for those who don't know, I had a white dad and who was from Belfast, and I had a black mum. Now, when I was in school in Zambia, because the kids were predominantly black in Zambia, and I was mixed race, I would often talk to some of the white kids that were there because my dad was white and I could talk to them. And I used to get called white names in Zambia. My dad would pick me up from school. Everyone else's dad was black that turned up, and so I would often get called white names. And then when I moved to Wrexham, I was the only mixed race kid there, and then I got called black names. I kind of didn't know where I sat, and it was for a long time. I didn't know where I sat in society. At times, I was like, who am I going with? What am I doing? And so that was quite tough. And so I lived in Wrexham there till I did my GCSEs. And at this point, my dad moved over when I was 14, and we went to live with my dad. And at this point, my dad was a bit older. He was an old dad. And I told everyone in school that
How old was he, Jim?
He was 65 when he died. So when he moved over, which is, I'll come to the story, he was 63, I think, when he moved over. And I told everyone in school how we had the big bungalow, the pool, the guards. And I came over, and whatever happened house-wise, I don't know what it was, we ended up in this council house in possibly the worst street in Wrexham. It was like, And but he wasn't there long, and he got cancer and died when I was 15. So
you came over when you were 10, and he died when you were 15. So 5 years.
I didn't really. He wasn't.
You wasn't present.
No, he was in Zambia. Again, I'll never know why he stayed over there.
Yeah.
But he did. And in that time when he died, I found out that my mum had died as well in Zambia. I didn't really know her as much. That's all. I only remember little snippets of her. When she was good, she was great, but I don't remember her being around much. And so so at 15, just before I did my GCSEs, I had to.
Wow.
Yeah, that was tough, quite tough. Yeah,
really tough.
Honestly, it's just amazing how you got through all that without.
Yeah, but it's just I do remember the funeral was at the church right next to the school I was at. And so when we were burying my dad, a couple of schoolmates, Robbie Savage included, turned up, and a couple of teachers.
So was he in your class at school, Robbie Savage?
Robbie Savage, yeah. We were best mates in school. He was fantastic for me, by the way, Robbie Savage. He kind of took me under his wing.
Is that how you got into football?
Yeah, because I was a golfer.
Like your dad?
Yeah, I loved golf. We used to take videos of each other, and I used to copy Jack Nicklaus's swing, and I wanted to be a golfer as a kid. I loved golf. And then when I moved over to Wrexham, our school times were different in Zambia. So we were often in school for 7:30. We finished by 12, half 12. And in the afternoon, there was afternoon activities, which I'd go back where I'd do some maths, I'd do French. But then after a while, I started going to the golf club. My dad would drop me off at the golf club. I'd get a caddy and we'd go play golf. I loved it. And then when we moved over to Wrexham, we finished school at 3:30. It was dark by 4. I didn't know where to play golf.
Blowing a gale.
Like it's just, raining.
Yeah. And you had no money.
But Robbie, yes. And it cost a lot more money. But Robbie Savage, he'd already signed for United when I met him at 10 when he went to the big school. And he was phenomenal. And for some reason, he took to me. And he lived in a lovely place in Bradley, and he used to walk past the school, come to my house, and knock on for me. And we'd walk together and go back to school. And I always think, he did not need to do that.
How lovely.
Didn't need to do that. And because he was a bit of the golden boy, signing for United, he got a bit of respect. And I think with me being with him, he took a bit of that stick off me, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then I watched him play football, and wow, at that age, he was incredible. He used to go past players like he went there, and I just went, oh, that's good. And we'd play together. And I found this out. The school I was at in Zambia was a private school. I was way ahead in my schooling. And so he'd copy my homework, and
you'd copy his
moves. Yeah, so we had this relationship where we'd be together all the time. We'd play football on street corners. Honestly, the amount of football we played together was phenomenal.
So as your skills developed, he was guiding you, and you were...
Yeah, he was at another level.
And then how did you get signed? Did you get signed to a youth team?
So my level on the graph was going up quite quickly. I started with, I was quick and quite strong. That was my main asset. And then the skills started to come later and later. And then at 15, my dad didn't see this because he died, but Shrewsbury came and approached me and asked me to come for trial, and I went for a trial. And
where were you? And
I was playing for some local team for Bradley, and they spotted me and said, "Do you want to?"
How does that work? So
scouts come and watch you.
So does someone from your team or your trainers ring Shrewsbury and say, "We've got some great young lads"? Or they
scouts
coincidence?
Go, yes, it's by chance. So scouts go around. There are various scouts that come, and they were the first ones that came. And I went on a trial, and they liked me and said, "Oh, we'd like to sign you." I was buzzing. I never thought I was going to play football. It was just something I loved to do.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I could play." And
this podcast is sponsored by Stockport Car Supermarket, and we want to buy your car. Simply text us with your reg and mileage. Once you've agreed a price, bring the car down to us, and if you live in 50 miles, we'll give you a lift home as well. If you're interested, simply give us a text on 07535 151 754. Thank you.
My half-sister, Diane Whitley, who's been very instrumental actually and how my career path, she lived in Manchester, in Whalley Range. Diane Whitley is she's my half-sister, and she's a writer.
She's a playwright.
She's a playwright.
I've done one of her plays.
Have you?
I've done one of her plays.
It's all good.
Oh my God. She's your half-sister.
She's my half-sister, Diane, yes. And so
Stop it!
Yes.
Because she wrote a play. Sorry, we'll have to talk about that when we get
there.
Di's
been incredible. So Di's the one who was writing for Jamie Johnson, and she's the one that got me in. Honestly, she's been magnificent. She really has. To Diane's small world.
We were on Your Life, weren't we? Yeah.
So Diane Whitley, I was just about to sign for Shrewsbury because I was buzzing, and Diane Whitley, who's my half sister, she lived in Whalley Range at the time. She looked in the Yellow Pages. I saw a youth development officer called Terry Farrell, and she just rang the club and said, "My brother looks like he's going to sign for Shrewsbury. Would you like to have a look at him?" And they had trials the following week, two days. They called me for a trial.
Is this Shrewsbury?
Manchester City.
Oh, City, right.
So she rang Manchester City.
Bless her.
And said, "Would you like? He's about to sign for Shrewsbury. Would you like to?" So they said, "Actually, bring him for trial." So I for a 2-day trial. There was 2 90-minute games. The first game, I might have played 15 minutes. The second game, I might have played 20 minutes. Those 15 and 20 minutes, I was on fire. The ball just landed. And the following week, Manchester City signed me.
Wow.
Fantastic. Just great story.
Utterly bonkers.
Wow.
So I went from Shrewsbury to Manchester City. I don't think anyone saw that coming.
And then how long after did Jeff sign then? Was he a few years?
Shortly after that, they said, Di rang Terry again and said,
"No way.
You know he's got a brother. Would you like to have a look at him?" And he's 4 years younger than me. So they went, "Yes, we'd like to have a look at him." And
she sort of took your mother role, really.
Yeah, well, we moved over to Whalley Range, and we went from my half brother Dennis to Di, and we lived with Di in Manchester, and that was a whole new life then, and that's where the Manchester City connection came in. So it's just a bonkers way of life. And I look back now at my brother Dennis and Di. 3 of us moved in. I've got 2 kids. If I'm all of a sudden plonked with another 3 kids, it'll be difficult in my household.
Yeah.
And they had to do that in theirs.
Yeah,
and
wonderful.
It it's quite incredible what they had to do. You know, we shared bunk beds, we shared whatever, and they took us in, which they didn't have to.
Yeah.
You know, so I
How old are your children?
Josh now is coming up. He's almost 21, and Jesse's 14.
And are they into what do they? Are they into sport?
Yeah, well, they're all in sport.
Are they?
Josh was he was at Everton and Blackpool. Very, very skillful, but probably things came too easy. He didn't have to work at it hard enough. I had to work and work and work, and it just got to the point where he was going to train it. He didn't like it.
Okay.
It wasn't for him the amount that he had to put in.
What's he doing now?
And he's at uni. He's at Leeds Uni, and he's enjoying life. He's playing football. He loves it. It's different. Yeah. You know, I'd rather he enjoyed it. And so so they're all getting bigger, and but I do take my hat off to Dennis and Di who looked after us, because
absolutely.
Wow. So you're a professional footballer for what then? 20 longer.
So as a professional footballer, I kind of slipped out of the game around 31 with a bad knee injury. I ended up my first season when I played. Manchester City had a new manager every year, and every time you kind of ended up playing for the reserves or climbing the ladder a little bit, a new manager would come in, and they'd want to look at the experienced players. So you'd be knocked back down to the beginning, and then you'd have to come up, and then they'd knock you down. So it took me a long time before I.
What year did you stop playing football then, Jim?
So I was 2005, 2006.
So you'd started painting before that,
oh
you?
My goodness, can we show you?
Yeah, no.
I'm going to have to slip out of this. And I'll find a way to put
my daughter's obviously, you know, Emily, my makeup artist daughter, and Amy.
So how long ago did you paint this, Jim?
Jim did this painting in 2001.
In 2001.
24 years. Where's it gone, Jim? 24
because then we'll
years.
show you something where, after 21 years of more painting. Okay. So this is what you did 21 years ago?
Wow.
This is Amy and Emily here.
This is Woody's daughters.
Now, beforehand, I've got to tell you, when I first saw this...
Is that okay, Sam?
It blew me away. And he's just shown us outside. This is some of my new work. Oh my
Have you got that
God!
picture of that
Oh
the new
my
one?
God!
21 years later.
This is, you can edit there. Where do you want this? Where can I show this up?
If you send it me, I'll put it on screen.
Okay. So that's
great.
it then.
Right.
You can look at that.
Send it to Sam,
and you can have a look at that.
Jim, that is
absolutely.
Jim, that is
so
just
did you train?
phenomenal.
How did you know that you had a gift like that?
So
that is incredible.
So when I went to live with Di and Dave in Manchester,
Dave
Simpson.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yes.
I went with them.
You went with them. So when I went to live with it, I went and did my A levels. I didn't do my. I didn't. Back then we used to do YTS, so it would. The YTS lads used to go in and clean the boots, and I didn't do that. I went and did my A levels, and I did art A level, and I mainly it was chiaroscuro art, which I studied, which is big light and dark forms. And I love portraiture, and I slipped into... I did a portrait of Tony Buck, who was the coach at Manchester City at the time. He had all these wrinkles, bless him, he's passed away now. He had all these wrinkles, and a big sunlight hit him, and I remember going, well, that's a great picture. So I just did it, and I went and showed him, and he went, I'll buy it off you.
Wow.
I was like, oh, I don't know how much to charge. And I went to see my art teacher, and he was saying, look, a portrait on its own is a one-off, so you have to charge for it. And then someone else would come and ask, and then someone else. So alongside my football, I was doing portraiture.
So you were doing that all the way through while you were football.
Yeah, I always did it. I did David Beckham. That's in the PFA studios. I did Princess
That's in
Di.
the where?
In the PFA, their offices that they bought that off me. I did Princess Di.
Stop it.
Paul Burrell bought that. So it was all. It was just I did that alongside, and that was part and parcel. So
Karen, Jim is actually so multi-talented. I remember, and a great singer. Because when did you start singing?
As I kind of slipped out of the game, so 2000.
Did you always sing as a child or as a teenager, or how did you discover that you had a voice?
So when I moved to Wrexham, trying to fit in, they used to go to church, so we went to church.
So this is when you're between 10 and 15?
15, yeah. And I joined the choir, and I was in the choir, and then my voice dropped, and I was learning to play the flute at the time in school, so I could read the music, so I started to go towards the bass line, and I hated solos. I hated doing solos in choir, but it's what I did. And then around 14, 15, after football was taken over, and I stopped singing. But it was definitely there. I loved the harmonies. I loved that aspect. And then as I got older, I started to, I loved the Michael Jacksons. I couldn't sing up there. And then I found this, I got introduced to kind of the Frank Sinatra's, the Nat King Cole's, and I thought that just suits my voice really. I thought that's really easy.
He's so good.
So you found your voice by discovering, listening to Frank Sinatra.
I thought I could just sing this. And the story goes, so I was at Wrexham, and there was a girl that came to Wrexham who'd written a song and wanted all the Wrexham lads to come and perform in the chorus. I remember thinking, that's bonkers, but we all went to the studio and we all sang away, and the producer who was in there, he picked me out and he pulled me to one side and just sing I sang a few bits, and he went, would you like to do a guest spot at a theatre that she was singing at? And I said, yeah, why not? Something new. I always delve into anything new. So I went to this theatre, and I'd got 2 or 3 songs, and the bass player there, Gareth Griffith, said, so you've got a nice voice. He said, you need to go contact this guy. And he gave me a card, and it was a guy called Neil Gordon. And so I just recorded something on a CD, nothing great, Fly Me to the Moon or something like that. And I sent that to him. Now, Neil Gordon was running the company at the time. He'd performed in the West End as Frank Sinatra. And he'd put this group together, Frank, Dean and Sammy. And he rang me and said, would you like to do Sammy Davis Jr.? We're doing a lot of corporate work. The show's 30 minutes. And I was like, yeah. And he sent me a script. He sent me choreography. He sent me harmony lines to learn.
How old were you then?
Well, I would have been 31.
Okay.
31. And I was like, okay. I'd not been sent a script before. I was literally learning on the job. And I was with another Dean Martin, who was another West End singer. So I was learning from quite high-end singers, and I just got into it. I had to learn all the choreography. And then as time went on, as I was more and more was doing it, I thought, well, I'm Sammy Davis Jr., so I started researching him, and I was like, well, he taps, so I delved into.
Tap dance as
yeah,
well.
I went into it. Yeah.
Can you do a step ball change?
I could do a step ball change, no problem. I could wing.
That's all I can do, a step ball change. And trip over me. I can do a step ball change.
You can do that.
Tell you, there's fire coming off my heels when I do a step ball change. It's smoking. That's all I can do.
So yeah, I put myself under pressure, and I was like, so I learned, and then in theatres I started putting the microphone down and having to tap. And I remember the first time I did that, my legs went to jelly. I'm like, oh God, what's happened to my legs? I could tap, and all of a sudden my legs would go.
Who taught you to tap?
YouTube first.
Stop it.
Well, I could slow it down, and then I could. I was like, oh, and then I realised with football, whenever technically when you strike a ball, everything has to be stiff. When you do a side foot, it can't be flop. Everything has to be stiff. When you strike a ball, I do this with all the kids that I coach. Everything has to be really hard. When you come to tap, everything's a lot looser, and so I for some reason I found I could do that. They went, oh, you won't be able to tap with it, and as it happens, so it was your foot would just slant, and I thought I could do that, and I just started learning. And I went to some tap classes with them. I was the only bloke there with the ladies.
That must have been awful for you.
Yes. But they knew all the terminology.
Wear a leotard,
I stood at the back. They knew all the terminology, which I didn't. So I just trying to follow footwork, and then I can say I can.
So do you then do the Sammy Davis Jr.? Then when if you're a crooner in a band, or are you a solo artist?
I do solos for weddings, but which I don't do as much now since COVID.
In
the band, Sammy Davis Jr.
You're Sammy Davis Jr.
Yeah, I don a wig.
Stop
don
it.
a wig and tap shoes. Yeah,
We'll have to go and watch him sometime.
Yeah,
We need to get a photograph up with of you in a wig.
Yeah.
Sammy Davis Jr.
You can put that in. So that's that. And then there's another show going around called The Crooners, which is a different thing. That's me on stage. I'm called Winston, and we're quintessentially British on stage, and we're the last 3 remaining crooners. So that's a different show. There's 3 of us with a 9-piece band. So that's lovely. So that tours. So that's different. That's just kind of me singing as my voice. But the Rat Pack as Sammy is.
So you do all of them in that show?
Yes, yeah. No. I do. In the Crooners, I do Winston, and there's another 2 singers, 2 different characters. I did weddings as on my own.
Right.
But COVID put a stop to that. It's kind of killed all work, and it was kind of like.
Has it not come back?
Word of mouth is the biggest thing in singing, and I.
So do you still do weddings?
I haven't done one for a while now, but do you know what? I've got so into performing with guys because
you're an all-round entertainer now.
Yeah, because do you know what I find? Because a lot of people say, "Why'd you get into singing?" And I realised that when I came out of football, there was a big void there. Performing in front of a crowd that 40,000 is massive. To just stop that is quite tough. And what I found is when I got on stage, like Woody, you know me, I'm a nice guy, Woody, but on the pitch, to win, things change, you know. I'm not quite the same person. You do what's needed to try and win the game. When you go on stage...
Did you used to kick people's shins?
Yes.
Did you used to stand on people's toes?
Yes.
That's so awful.
Yeah. Tug wherever you could. Yes. Because they do it to you, so you'd end up having to do it back.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
So on stage, I found I'm being someone else. I'm performing in front of the audience. It wasn't 40,000, but it might be 800 people, might 1,000. It was that same kind of buzz. Here's a kick-off time at 3 p.m. Here's your theatre time, 7:30, right?
Yeah.
Your beginner's called out, right? And then it's like that bit of nerves. And
focus.
You must get that buzz on the theatre.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, unless I've got stage fright, when most of the time, most of my career, I've loved being on stage and it's been that buzz. But there's been one particular stage fright. Have you ever had stage fright?
Oh, it's awful.
It's absolutely awful. You can't go on stage. You've got to go on stage. You will go on stage, but you can't. You can't, but you do because you have to. But you. It's not like I can and I'm going to. It's like I can't, and yet you know you have to. It's absolutely.
So it's like an anxiety attack.
It's absolutely horrendous. I find that rescue remedy on your tongue does help a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Don't have too much of it.
Yeah, I can imagine my.
But I don't know whether that's psychological. Terrible stage fright for the first night, one particular show, and then I took rescue, and I'd never had stage fright before, and then I took rescue remedy, and it was great for the rest of the run.
It's funny you talk about it. Could be in your mind. When I was at City, there was a point where lads just got into sleeping pills to sleep at night. Just give me a good night's sleep. They got banned because they were too strong. And I remember one day I was in the physio room and a lad came in and said, I need some sleeping pills. And the physio went, you know we can't give you them now. And he's like, I need one night. The kids have been. And he went, have these 2. Take them at 10 o'clock. I'll see you tomorrow. So he went off, came in next day. He went, how do you sleep? He went, oh my God, it was amazing. Physio turned to me, he went, paracetamol.
So my goodness.
So his head.
Yeah.
So that rescue, it could be.
What the hell do they call it? There's a word for that. Placebo.
It's a placebo.
Placebo. Yeah, you think you're taking it, so it chills you out.
And I laughed my head off. So that sent him off. Put these in.
Right.
I'm all right now.
Paracetamol.
Yeah, brilliant. Placebo effect.
It's a placebo. So the rescue could, if it works, it works.
It worked for one production I was in, but it certainly didn't work for I think because the other production, I was so absolutely terrified because it was Shakespeare and I was absolutely terrified that nothing could get through my fear. I was blocked with fear.
It's a horrible feeling. I got dreams of forgetting.
You do, yes. The actor's nightmare. Forgetting your lines on stage. It's awful. And when you do forget your lines on stage, I've done it. Well, sometimes I improvise my way out of it terribly if I'm doing a period piece. Terribly. And then Shakespeare, I can't improvise my way out of that, so I just shut up.
I took my son once to Karen's to see if he maybe fancied acting. Anyway, he went round and he came out and we got back home and he said to all his mates, he said, oh, guys, she's really nice, Karen. She's actually more frantic than my dad.
how did you get into acting then?
I got into acting when I went to Oldham Theatre Workshop when I was 13, and I loved it, and I carried on till 17, then did my A-levels. I then auditioned for drama school, and I got in drama school when I was 20. I wouldn't say it's been easy. I'm in and out of work.
Mm-hmm. So would that still be the avenue for youngsters who wanted to go in? Would that be the avenue you
Well, I mean, you know, there's so many ways now to get into acting. I mean, I hate to use the term celebrity, but there's a lot of reality television people who can get jobs on, or in the West End, who may not be trained, who can't even do the job necessarily because they've not got the appropriate use of voice or the stamina to do, you know, to fill a 2,000 seat, 3,000 seat theatre. That takes some doing.
But they can get bums on seats.
They'll get bums on seats. I'm not mentioning any names. I have people in mind, but who just aren't trained to fill that space. And you've got to fill that space and then not get... We've got so many brilliantly trained actors and actresses who don't work, who don't get the break, and then it goes to someone who's a face. And that's very depressing. It's very frustrating, you know. It's very interesting how you moved from a professional football player, then with your musical side, your singing side, performing side, and now as a professional actor on
Jamie Johnson.
On Jamie Johnson, that Di wrote.
Di's written the episodes for Jamie Johnson, and I again, I said Di's been instrumental, and she definitely has. And they were looking for an actress, actually, and they couldn't find one. And
I'm here.
Yes, Di.
I can do step ball change. I can't kick a ball, but I can do
I mean, that would be so cool. If as a result of this show, you end up doing a bit of work together.
Amazing, wouldn't it? You never know.
I know.
Do you know what?
It's crazy.
That's what I love about stuff
You
like
never know.
that.
No.
You know, I've got to say, I don't think there will be anyone else in the world who's been a professional footballer, a professional singer, a professional artist, and a professional actor. Do you? I think it'd be a pretty tricky one to find, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I just wanted to plug a little bit of Jamie because it's been unbelievable for me. It's such a weird thing to do, acting in front of the amount of cameras there. That I spoke earlier, Karen, about my first ever scene. It was just me and one of the girls, and I thought it'd just be me, her, a camera, maybe a bit of lighting. This whole entourage of people turned up. I'm talking 50 odd people, and I'm like, what? I didn't know why they were there, and but they're all, at the time I'd just been promoted. So I got my sister Di. As I said, they were after a black woman coach, and they couldn't find one, and so she just chucked my name in, and I auditioned, and I got the assistant role at the beginning, and then as time went on,
the assistant coach.
The assistant coach. I wasn't the main coach. I was the assistant coach, and then the Friday before Monday filming, the guy whose name escapes me, I might have to bring this back up, who got the role. You'll know him. He was an ex-footballer. He said he had some health issues, and they couldn't go with him. And I got promoted to the head role, which there was so many more lines. It was really good. So this was the Friday, Monday coming filming. I'm now filming as the main guy. And when these people turned up, I was thinking they've come to see if I'm good enough. Then the director changed it to a walking scene. Now,
walking and talking at the same time.
So I know this sounds like it's really easy walking. In your head, when you've rehearsed something like I think this is how the conversation is going to go, but all of a sudden they go, no, we're just going to stand and walk, and you maybe hit that bit mark there at that door, then you'll talk here, and then you'll walk. My legs went. I remember going, I can't walk. And you know, as much as the rehearsal, it's a bit start to I can't. So it was very, very difficult. But I did well, and we've just finished filming the 4th season. Jamie Johnson's currently out. Season 3 is currently out.
Oh, season 3, right?
Season 3 is currently out.
There's been more seasons.
There's 1, 2. This is. Oh, so originally Jamie Johnson had gone for 7 years or so.
Right,
What had happened was Jamie Johnson had reached 21, 22, and they couldn't pretend he was 14 and 15. So they had to come up with something different.
That's the female academy thing.
And so now they've come up with Jamie Johnson FC, which is looking at the academy world of football. And Jamie Johnson is now in the first team, and he comes and looks after some of the kids. And if you watch,
they're the ones I've watched. Yeah.
Yes,
and that's CBBC.
That's CBBC, and on iPlayer you can catch them, all of them on iPlayer.
Okay.
And it's looking into the world of kids in academies, what they have to go through being released as kids.
Well,
it's very, very
that's
difficult.
Another, you know.
The pressures on kids right now. Going Manchester City, I coach quite a few kids from Manchester City United, youngsters. The pressure from the parents who want them to do well. Because it's almost a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
If they get in, it's massive. But I watched them. There was a kid who had signed for United. This is when my son was playing. He'd signed for United, and 2 years later, he got released. He came back distraught. His playing career went downhill. I think he thought he was a failure. Even though he was better than everyone else, and he'd signed for United, when he got released, he just came back, and he was a different player altogether. And it's tough as kids with social media now and everything else that goes. I think it's very, very difficult. And I think even as first teamers, to be constantly judged on the various social medias that's around. When we played, we had a rating in the paper. We'd always get a paper. You'd sit there and go, well, I was a 5. Are you having what game today? And but the next day, that's gone.
Yeah.
We used to say it's fish and chip paper. It's gone. Now you can regurgitate it. You can keep. And I know if I was playing now, I'd probably keep reading. He's rubbish. It's really hard mentally, and you have to have a very thick skin to be a footballer.
Yeah, tough. Because obviously I work with your brother, Jeff at Wolves. I did 5 seasons there. Worked very closely with the academy lads, and Jeff did 4 seasons with me, and we had the 16 to 18-year-old kids, and I think about during the 5 years that I was there, how many actually made it through?
Well, I don't know. It's not
minuscule.
It's not many.
Minuscule.
I heard Paul Merson talking about it, actually saying, as a footballer, he said, if you wanted to be a doctor and you went and you did A-levels, then you went to uni, you'll eventually become a doctor. Yeah. It's just with football, you can do everything right. Your training, your food.
Same with acting.
You can do everything right, and we won't get there. We'll put on the extra hours.
Acting and
exactly the same.
The acting business and the football business are so similar. You can do your football academy. You can get a contract even when you're a young player and still get released when you're 18. You can go through drama school. I mean, Amy went to RADA, and I went, and that's meant to be like the finest drama school, one of the finest in the world. Apparently, is that right, Karen? No.
I think it's got one of the finest reputations.
Okay,
it's a very good answer. It's a very good answer, Karen. Yes.
When I went to drama school, drama centre in 1983, and I told in Oldham, I was from Oldham, and my mum's workmates, they're all going, "Oh, what drama school are you going to?" RADA, because it's the only one they'd ever heard of. Well, no, it's not actually the best.
Okay,
it's one of the best.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? But a lot of people who are not in the industry have only heard of RADA because it is world famous.
Yes.
But it doesn't necessarily mean it's the best.
Okay, so
it's got a great reputation.
A world famous drama.
It's great reputation.
So she went there, and I went down to watch all the productions, and was actually blown away by the quality of the acting. But I think, I wonder how many of them have gone on to, really having like amazing careers. I know that Michael Balogun, he's gone on to do some really good stuff. And Ralph Davis, he wrote the series with Amy, the one that's on at the minute, called Film Club.
Have you spoke about Amy, by the way, previously? Because you're just talking as if like Amy went to...
We touched on her last week.
Amy's huge.
I know.
Yeah.
I didn't realise how big... She's on another level.
Yeah.
Again, did she have a bit of luck to begin with? in that?
Well, I think everybody has luck, don't they? But I mean, I suppose I would say, wow. So when she was younger, she went through a lot of shit at school. You know, she got bullied. She had me being a pain in the arse. Yeah. She probably, you know, suffered from PTSD from all that shit that went on, because I was about 9 when she got, you know, when I got sober. And I think she probably used it as quite a bit of an escape. She did plays from a little kid with Emily, because she's a cracking singer as well. You know, she's such a good singer.
Well, she was in Cabaret, wasn't she?
She did the lead in Cabaret.
I bet she was fantastic.
You know what? There was a part in that, I'll probably cry now. There was a guy sat next to me, watching it, and we had these tickets, obviously, and I was watching it, and he obviously was really enjoying it. And I never said that Amy was my daughter, you know. I thought, don't start that, you know. And then at the end, he went, "This is my second time. I had to come again. I'm over from Canada. Isn't she amazing?" I remember going, "Oh my God, it's my daughter." And, you know, it was just wow. So she's amazingly talented, but she did a first, I think it was Guys and Dolls at school was a production. And she said to me, "Oh, Dad, I'm in Guys and Dolls, you know, if you want to come and watch it, you know, and I have to sing a few songs, you know." And I went, "Oh, go on, sing one for me now." And she went, this is what an arsehole. She went, "Oh, Dad, I can't, you know." And I went, judgmental prick, "Well, love, if you can't sing it to me, you're going to be struggling to do it with an audience." When it come to it and I got the tickets, I thought, I wonder how she's going to manage this. Oh my God. She did about 3 or 4, amazing. And that was the time I thought, she's going to make it. She was quite a shy child, certainly not a big head or anything, definitely super modest, you know, but maybe deep down inside, she knew she was pretty good at this.
She's very good.
Yeah. So I got these 2 daughters with amazing talent, you know, a bit like you two.
Where did they get?
I wasn't going to say it, but, you know.
Well, I think the mother would have probably been a good actress.
You're very good at selling cars, aren't you?
Well, yeah, she was good at pointing up with me for 10 years, but yeah. So that was that really, you know. So, yeah, interesting. Very interesting. How many brothers and sisters have you got all together then?
9.
Jimmy? 9.
9 brothers and sisters.
Yes. I'm saying 9 because we're missing as. It was 9. Yes, so one passed away. Tragically, actually, when he was just before he was 30. Jack was the youngest. He ended up taking his own life.
I remember that.
With drugs. He wrote a letter, so I think he knew what he's doing. And I often think about it and think, you must be in a really bad way to do that. And he was always one of these that was smiling, always smiling. Not one you'd think, you know. So he was always, the smiley one, and we would never have thought that. But, you know, it's times that you think, why don't you talk? There's always somebody be able to help.
How long ago was that?
What are we in now? So that would have been 2014, 15. You know, I think when my dad died, I didn't cry for a while. I felt I had to be strong for the.
Yeah.
But I now with the kids, I love a film I can cry
Yes.
to. I used to bottle that up so much. My throat used to hurt so much. You know, I'm like, I can't cry.
My
throat's sore. Whereas now, actually, the release is. I'm like, okay, I can. So I love it. I'm like, right, I love it.
And so with your brother, with Jack, there was no suggestion, even looking back, he never spoke about.
No, there was one time him and his mum never got on that well, and he came to move moved in with me for a very short period, and he moved in with me because when he was with his mum, he'd had an argument with his girlfriend. I think they'd had a drink. He'd had an argument with his girlfriend, and he just jumped out of the top window of the house and landed through the conservatory, and got up without a scratch. And he came to live with me to go and see someone. And I do remember this was weird. He did say to me, he said, have you never thought of jumping out of a window? I said, no, only unless the place is on fire, that might, but he used it as like a,
It was a natural consideration.
And he had nothing wrong with him. I don't know and then, when that happened, I wondered whether he was testing something. You might wrote that as if it doesn't, I don't know. I think he thought he was a bit immune to quite a few things.
Yeah. No,
he'd done a few weird things where I was like, not anything that you'd go, he might take his own life at some point. But
I can ID with that one. When I've been going through times in my life, it was, thankfully it doesn't happen to me very often these days. But I could, if I was having a really tough time or something and really going through it, and I might be walking over a bridge, and I could think, if I just chuck myself over there now, then I won't.
You'd had that.
Oh, I've had loads of them.
Oh, really?
Mate, I've had absolutely
just because
loads.
Your head's in a different space.
Well, you're thinking, I can escape. When I shared it last week when I was in Italy at the World Cup, I stood out on the 6th balcony of the ledge outside my bedroom window and nearly chucked myself off,
Oh, my word.
So I can totally...
you can...
I can totally ID with that, yeah.
It's an escape just to stop it.
Well, yeah, the pain, if you're in a lot of pain. So he must have been in, not for me to say what he must have been in. I would imagine he was in so much pain and he couldn't escape. And this is why this is one of the reasons also, Jim, that I say you're a miracle. Because obviously Jeff went through all these traumas and with the drugs and the drink, which is well documented. I'm not, it's all out there. So I'm not talking out of school there. And obviously then you've had a brother but then you've never gone down that route. And if you think about, how you've put your talents into so many different things, without, I mean, have you had much therapy, or have you had?
No, I've not had any therapy.
Have you never had any therapy?
No, and probably the talents. Probably the talents are. I like new challenges.
Amazing.
And sometimes I wonder. I wish I just had one and just.
I'm so sorry you're so talented.
Do you know what? I played golf with him. I played golf with him many years ago. Oh, hang on a minute. Just let me get around this. At that time I was playing a lot of golf, and I always wanted to have a good score, and I could probably knock it round in about 78 something, 70 on a good day. I think he'd even borrowed some clubs from someone. He turns up on the tee. I'm going to swear now.
Oh, really?
Fucking hell. He turns up on the tee with a set of clubs, hasn't played for ages.
In a pair of Wellington boots.
I didn't know that he'd played loads when he was a kid and all that. I've got some I thought, never mind, I can give him a few tips here. And he knocked it round in 2 over par. He could have been a golf pro. I'm telling you, no shadow of doubt in my mind, if you'd have concentrated on that sport.
I don't know. But yeah, I did love that.
Jim,
this was in his day, Karen. There was one time we went onto the tee with another guy who was playing, an older guy, and he had this really weird swing that went out here, came round, and I thought, oh wow, that's a weird. And Woody straight away went, right, 500 quid. On the front 9, 500 quid in the back 9, and 500 quid for the overall winner.
Right, Neil.
I swear, I was like, I can't be paying that. I'm not a bettor. I don't bet. And I was like, oh my. But I saw this guy swing. I went, okay, well, I'm going to be beaten. As it happens, this guy knew the course. Oh my God, he'd hit it here and it would roll down, and he'd roll down here, he'd get course management. I was not, that was really stressful, really, really stressful game. And I didn't really like it. But I won the money.
The talent shone through.
Yes.
And you see, this is where I think you're absolutely amazing, is that obviously it's a long time ago now since you've not had your mum or your dad around, and you probably didn't have your mum around much at all, but I know, and you were close to your dad. And then wow, that's where people would, hopefully go and speak to the mum and the dad, or the mum or the dad.
Oh, yeah.
And, for people who haven't got that, it's like people are brought up in care homes and stuff like that. Wow, it's such a challenge, so many end up in prison or with drug addictions and stuff, it's so sad. So, you've turned out to be a pretty well-rounded individual.
Sometimes listening to the kids when they're having a good moan up, because the mums and dads are often the worst people around, aren't they? You have to say, I wish I had my mum and dad around, and I think parents as well who might be listening to this or watching this, I think vice versa, be happy with your kids that you have. You never know what's around the corners.
No.
Always look after family members and tell them I love them.
Where do you get your drive then from? Where do you get your, or your creativity as well? I mean,
do you know? I go back to. It was obviously in me from playing golf. It was something that I did, and you have to do it repetitively to become good. And obviously, the football, I must have had a talent in that aspect. But I met. Colin Bell was my first coach at Manchester City. Colin Bell, for those of you, he's got the stand is named after him at the Etihad. He's the biggest.
Yeah.
And I remember he didn't. I used to travel on the train from Wrexham before I moved to Manchester, and he would train us on a Thursday night. And he used to pull us to one side, and I remember thinking I wasn't the best. Turning up at Wrexham, I was like, oh, he's good, he's very good, And Colin, he pulled me to one side and he said, there's times where things won't go right for you in your game. A little pass, 5-yard pass, just won't go there and you'll wonder what's happened. And he said, it's at that point you have to roll your sleeves up and you have to give 100%. He went, if you give 100%, you can come off the pitch knowing you've done it. And I've taken that onto every aspect of wherever I've taken onto. If you try your best, everyone's level's different.
Yeah,
there's acting, football, singing, your maths. If you can just give 100%, wherever that puts you in the bracket, you can always look yourself in the mirror and say,
"Did my best."
I did my best. Yeah. And so whatever comes up, wherever that may be, whether it's a new skill, and I don't normally say, but I've been lucky enough to be sprinkled with a bit of talent and various kind of things. If it presents itself there, I'll give it my all, and I suppose that keeps me going to the next one and the next one. And it's all my gigs that I do. Whenever I turn up at the gig, it's very easy to have done something for so many years to just go, right, I'll just go do it. No, every show I believe there's new people there. They want to see it for the first time. So that's
absolutely. Whether it's 5 in the audience or 500 or
just try and
whatever.
Give
attitude.
Yeah.
So
because you love what you do.
Yeah. So
you love what you do. You're good at what you're doing. It matters.
Yeah. And so that's what just try and be and even with the kids that I coach now, the youngsters, even 18-year-olds that I train, I try and give them whatever knowledge I did when I was, something I might have done against the wall repetitively and found out later, that was wrong, I should have done it this way. So I'll try and cut that out and go, don't do this, do this. And sometimes I wish I was a bigger figurehead in football to give more back. If Messi was doing something, people would listen. I would love to give more on that side.
Well, you've got plenty of time left.
Yeah, I do. I love Jim. That on all fronts. Some kids I've seen, and I'm watching them going, "You're not going to be a footballer," but their attitude to training, their attitude to, and I say to them, the way because they're giving 100%. If you can take this, if you apply this to any other job, whether it's sweeping the floor, you do it as well as that.
Absolutely,
you will go up.
Mick's the same. Mick McCarthy's the same. Give it everything 100% as a player.
I wish I was spoken to Mick.
Well, we can. Well, maybe we can do another one. Get you both on.
Yeah, on the football side. Even as a manager, you need thick skin as a manager.
But I've got to tell you, Jim, if I was a football chairman, I owned a football club and I watched this interview, I'd be going, employ that man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's been drinking again. So when Joe Royle came and took over at Manchester City, we played a game. I think it was Kieran Dyer I had to play against, and he said, "Go and man mark him. Don't do anything else. Just man mark him. Follow him wherever he goes." So I played this game. We won the game, and I came off and I thought, I've not done anything to impact the game. I stopped bits when he got it, and I remember we won the game, and I was just walking off like, and Joe Royle made a beeline for me. He came and he put his arm around me and went, "You won us the game," and I get a bit emotional because I felt like 6 foot then. I just went, oh. And that was the best bit of man management I've seen. Just, he knew who to put an arm around, who to shout at. And that moment was, I remember going, oh, wow.
Yeah.
He believed him. I didn't do much in the game, but he was like,
that's it.
You enabled other people.
That's it.
Is there anything with you that you spoke about, the things that we remembered? Is there anything as you've gone through your life, even on the drinking side or something in the turn that's brought you through, that you went, I remember that, and that's a big saying that's taken you through?
There's been so many. Mainly, I think feeling a disappointment as a parent, as a person, and loads of stuff. I mean, it took me a long time to,
wow, geez.
There wasn't really.
That's quite incredible to have that on your shoulders and just. You're always so bright.
Well, that's what. I know what recovery's taught me that. Attitude. Charles Swindoll's this Christian guy, and he talks about attitude. The longer I live, the more I realise the impact of attitude on life. It will make or break a company, a church, a home, a football club. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the fact that people will act in certain ways. The only thing we can do is play on the one string that we have, and that is our attitude. I am convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. Now, when you are going through serious mental health issues, you actually may not be in charge of your attitudes. Are you with me? But if you can work on becoming in charge of your own attitudes, do you know what I mean? Something to strive for. Because if you've got a good attitude about life, you can nearly get through everything, can't you? When I'm having a bit of a shitter one day, and I'm fucking up, I just go like that. 90%. This is now 90% how I deal with this. I can moan and whinge and groan. That doesn't mean I can't acknowledge that I'm pissed off. I was a bit pissed off before. However, I do this one lot as well. This is a problem that I might be going under with. And I think, is this going to be a problem in 1 month? Not even slightly. So if it's a bad golf shot, it's gone. It takes me 1 second.
You're allowed to be annoyed at the golf shot.
I do. I go, shit, and then I'm over it, honestly, these days. Before I used to wrap my head around my club or whatever it might be, smash things up, and if you can get that positive attitude in life. Yes. So is it going to be a problem in a month? Actually, is it going to be a problem tomorrow? No. It might be a problem tomorrow, but it won't seem that bad. And then you can whittle things down, really, that most things, that's a lot of people, and I'm not being judgy, I'm just being, a lot of things that most people moan about are irrelevant. Have you, in your life, Karen, could you share maybe some of your tough times that you may have had?
Well, I mean, we've all had them, haven't we? Do you know what I mean? I mean, my dad was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
He ended up homeless on the streets of Manchester.
How's that not come out until now? Wow.
He died at 44. He had a stroke. Yeah. I mean, there's been times in my life when I've drank to self-medicate because I've been in some challenging relationships. I loved my dad very much. I was only 19 when he died. I think when he died, I would have my mum's still with me. She's 87. She's a care home, which is my world. I had a different relationship with death when I was 19. I didn't really appreciate it, didn't really understand what it meant, didn't really. Now I do, as a 62-year-old woman now, and now my mum's been on end of life care a few times. She's still with us. It's amazing. My relationship with my dad and his relationship with drink, and we never really saw him. He was never really present. Of course, he wasn't present. He was in the pub most of the time. So my mum really was a single parent in the 60s to 2 kids, which was unheard of. We were the only kids in our infant school and junior school that had just one single parent. So, because that was quite unique then. And I think that, not having dad around and to, has absolutely influenced my choice of relationships. Absolutely, of course. Sometimes, because I was never around, sometimes I'd have a relationship with a man because I just needed to have a man in my life. Do you know what I mean? So you'd make choices that don't...
It's weird how everyone deals with problems in different ways.
Yeah.
What it can do is because you lost your mum to drink. I lost my dad to drink. He fell over and banged his head, never woke up. And you lost your dad to drink. And we're actually an example how you can come through and still actually be successful, so it actually it can give people hope that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we did touch on it, and it's something that I'll always say to everyone, whoever's watching this, whether you're a youngster or a parent watching this, I always say give 100%, whatever you do. I think it's key in moving on. You can always look at yourself and be happy with that. And also I touched, and I got a little bit emotional in that, and is whoever your loved one is right now, go and put an arm around them, tell them you love them. You don't know what's around the corner, and it does 100%. mean a thing. And I think I got a little emotional at that because I didn't have that for a long. Where somebody just put an arm around you and went, well done. Or
you know what?
And that's quite big. So I give 100%, and you don't know what's around the corner. So go give someone a hug.
Beautiful.
Jim, it's been an absolute joy.
Yes.
You're an absolute... I've known you for so long, but I didn't know quite a lot of the stuff that you just talked about there. So it's great. Pub talk isn't quite the same.
There's some telephone numbers at the end of this, and please don't hesitate to give a call should you so need and want.
And thanks, Jim.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.